Hello, family and friends. Today is Thursday, and excuse me, I've been working on this house and kind of gutting it so it gets dusty, and I don't have the FOVID. Don't worry about that. I've been thinking about how to get a message across to people that maybe they don't already know, or maybe they do. But as I've been watching Zen Garcia talk about cryptocurrency, and as I have also been talking about cryptocurrency now and have been talking about gold and silver for a while, I'm seeing that there's a really large misconception about what we're using for money in the world and what cryptocurrency is and can be. And I want to remind people that AI technology is not going away. Now, I know you guys know this very well. I know that I have listeners that are very intellectual, intelligent people that understand that AI technology is all around us and that it's not really going anywhere. And again, forgive me for clearing my throat. I was working on this, like I said, I was working on this house today, and we are scraping all the popcorn ceiling stuff off, and it's really quite ugh, but lots of dust. And anyway, so as far as AI technology, we are being led, and I've made a whole video about this that's an hour long. So you may want to watch it at some point or you may not. But it is called Trump and the Q, the AI Legacy. And the reason that might interest you is because that video particularly explains why the AI is going the way that it is. Very, very specifically explains why AI is going the way that it is. And before I ever made this, a long, long time ago, I made a video about Q being AI, and I took you guys through the history lesson on uh, the internet, basically. And so, what the internet is a place that was created that certain powers that be could have control of and get into. And that means that having a key to that encryption keys to the internet for certain people meant they could get into your computer, into your phones, into your emails, all along the way. That's how they've been planning it. And I think, in glory to our Father Yahuwah, I think with his hand, I did a good job of explaining that on my original Who is Q video. And then Trump and Q, the AI legacy, goes on to explain why this is going to create a really easy way to implement more AI, and that Trump was behind this. He very much wanted AI technology to be in control of our lives, and he's very into this technology. And I don't need to go through the whole video again because it talked a lot about a lot of other stuff, but mainly that this particular weapon, the FOVID, was going to be perfect for what they needed to get done. I believe he's just ushering in the next era for Biden. I don't think that he's doing anything that he wasn't supposed to be doing. I think everything was planned and not for our well-being. He called it a Manhattan Project style effort with his vaccine program, Operation Warp Speed. And I would like to show you guys the Operation Warp Speed logo. And if you've already seen this and you've already on top of things, then that's great. And I'm sorry if you already know all this. But if you didn't, this has been broken down very well recently by Nicholson 1968. And he does a fantastic job of, he goes through a lot of other stuff too. And then if you give it the whole watch, it's like only 38 minutes long, and he does great videos, and he hasn't done any for a long time, so it's worth watching his breakdown. That even I would have not gotten the complete breakdown on this, but there's enough. You just look at it. There's a cube. There's the virus. There's the red and the blue, which is the duality colors that we see also in superhero characters. But there's plenty to explain how this is going to work very well to usher in the AI technology. And whoops, what I want people to know is that there's a difference between centralized and decentralized cryptocurrency. So just to explain cryptocurrency a little bit, please bear with me. I don't want to bore anyone, but I think this is good because I've seen people saying they think it's something that it's not. They've seen people say, well, the government's just going to take over cryptocurrency and then it'll all be owned, or the government is going to be able to hack it, or just have their way with cryptocurrency, and that's not possible. That's not possible. They can't hack cryptocurrency. They can't take it over. They would have to create their own centralized cryptocurrency. A decentralized cryptocurrency can't be broken into. In fact, I have a wallet. You understand, like a wallet I'd carry around in my pocket, but it's digital, and I understand why that would worry people. And I want you guys to know that I've known about cryptocurrency, even though I haven't expressed a desire to own it, and I've advised not to. I've understood what it is because I was working with Unstoppable Domains, not working, I was working with it, like I don't work with them like you go to an office and work with people. I was working with the program, trying to figure it out and understand why I would use blockchain technology. And I came to understand it's because it can't be taken away. It cannot be hacked or broken into. No one else can have it. So the wallet that I use to house my currency that's crypto in technology, the wallet I have has a way to get into it. It's a passcode, and it's not an easy passcode. I could never remember it. It's long. I have to write it down. I have to take screenshots. People recommend you take a picture or print it off or write it down and put it in your safe. Because if you ever lose it, if you ever lose this wallet, you'll never get that money. And no one else will ever get that money. It's just going to sit in that wallet in limbo forever. Okay? I'm not going to get into the details of cryptocurrency because I'm not a cryptocurrency expert where I don't mine it. I don't understand all the details. But being blockchain technology, it's made in a way that is not made the way the World Wide Web works. So if you were to get Unstoppable Domains and build a website on there, no one could ever take the website down unless I sold the domain. Then somebody could change it or do whatever they wanted. But unless I sold the domain or somebody broke in and found my passcodes to these things, then they could have it. But other than that, they can't. So if you recall, or maybe you didn't know, there was an episode of Black Mirror called Nosedive. And in Nosedive, it is Bryce Dallas Howard, who's Ron Howard's daughter, and she is desperate to reach this social credit score. Now, this was before I had even heard of China having this social credit score that they already have. I would play the trailer, but it's not a trailer. It's basically the writer or director saying it's satire, which it's absolutely not. But this gal, Bryce Dallas Howard, is desperate to have a good score because the good score means she can buy a house in a certain neighborhood. Yeah, he has a couple daughters, I think. It would mean that you could have a better job. You got to hang out in better areas of town, just like we see with the social credit score. What it doesn't show is how they can drain your bank account immediately in this kind of scenario. They can stop you from using public transportation. They can, lock you out of certain areas where, the door will open for somebody else, but not for you because you'd have to scan your phone or possibly a mark in your arm or your forehead. We're not there yet, but we could be someday. So until we're there, we see that this is the way that we're going with AI technology. As far as your banks, this AI technology is going to make it so that we don't need to have, because we're going to go to, okay, and what I wanted to mention was that the government probably will create a centralized cryptocurrency, okay? And they will have this ability to do whatever they want with our money, our social credit score, etc. And they could take our money out, they could put money in, they could incentivize us by giving us digital currency. They could take it away from us. They could also, make it so that we can only buy houses in certain areas. And so when they make that cryptocurrency, it's going to be centralized. But you're going to have to learn the technology the same that you would if you got to learn it now. So they're going to make it so that's the only way you have access to your dollars in the future. Now that doesn't mean it's the mark yet. I'm not saying it's the mark yet. there's probably going to be a digital cryptocurrency before there's even the mark. And I say this because I don't think we're there yet. I just don't think we're quite there to the mark yet. I know we're getting close, but so if we have a digital currency in our banks, they won't need armed guards because it's all digital. They won't need tellers, and again, we're moving towards AI technology. And now that we are biohazards, they're going to have AI robots that deliver our packages, that drive driverless cars, and we get to go into our utopia of universal basic income. But you're going to be under this social credit score system, and this tries to say it's satire because it's this desire to be liked and this desire to be popular, but it's more than that. This woman won't be able to buy a nice home or have a certain job or even have a certain income because her social score is low. People and whatever interaction she has with people, they get to determine how what they if off based off their interaction, they get to grade her. And they say, "Oh, I didn't have a good interaction with you. I'm going to give you a low score," which is awful that anyone could do that. And that's where it's heading, that anyone's going to be able to do that. And anyway, so I'm telling you guys, your banks are not safe for more than one reason. And I want to show you this guy. This is now where we're not even in a digital AI currency yet. This New Jersey gym owner was staying open in defiance of lockdown orders. Good for him. But the state seized his entire bank account. He had almost $200,000 in a bank account that was a business bank account, and they took all of it. The government took his money from that state. The New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy, seized all that money. And how could you just go in and take somebody's money out of their bank? Because they control it. Because your bank is controlled by the government already. It's already owned, and so it doesn't even have to be digital yet. And yet people want to open up accounts and this is how you can talk to people, guys. This is how you're going to tell people about whether it's going to be gold and silver or cryptocurrency. This is how you're going to tell them, please don't put your money in a bank. Well, we want, little Johnny to go to college, and so we're starting a trust fund. Okay, great. Don't put it in a bank. And I think people hear that more because I do have some friends that didn't want to hear anything about gold and silver. But they did understand that the bank wasn't really a good place to put their money. They didn't want to do gold and silver. They're doing these stocks type of things. It's called Primerica. And so they're getting really into that, where they're putting currency into a bunch of different stocks. And then somebody's helping them trade, which it sounds great and all, but it's not tangible gold and silver, or now that we're talking crypto, that kind of thing too. So I got to have this conversation with them that because they understood the bank wasn't safe, that's why I said, well, that's why we're getting into these cryptocurrencies. It's decentralized. The government cannot take your crypto, can't do it. If you don't believe me, or if somebody doesn't believe you, it doesn't take long to show them that blockchain technology was created for that reason. And not even the person who created a coin can give my wallet to the government. They can't. I might have a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum and World Crypto Life specifically, right? Because that's the one we're into. I could have a whole bunch of these coins in my wallet, and not even the government, not even the person that created these coins can give it to the government to take from me, because my personal wallet has such a special way to get into it that they just can't have it. There's just no technological way that they can just come and take it from you. So the government, number one, will not take over the current cryptocurrency that is out there. Now, they may try to tax us on it, but at this point, I cannot be taxed on this even as I earn income from it, because they're paying me in cryptocurrency. So I can't be taxed on this. And my gold and silver, when I buy certain products there, I don't have to, if I sell it, like I could sell $50,000 worth of silver eagles, and I would not have to, ooh, a tube of generic rounds. Dang, I hope those are available tomorrow. I'm going to buy them. Anyway, silver eagles I would not have to claim. If I sold $50,000 today, I would not have to claim that. So this is an anonymous way to get out from under the thumb of tax and government, both of them. The government cannot take over the centralized cryptocurrency. There's no way that's going to happen. They can't do it. And if you didn't think Trump was in on this AI technology thing that I was talking about a little while ago, he pardoned this guy, Anthony Lewandowski. A couple of you will remember who this is when I remind you, when I show you who this is. President Trump granted a full pardon to Anthony Lewandowski. This pardon is strongly supported by James Ramsey, Peter Thiel, Miles Ehrlich, Amy Craig, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of people don't care about. A Goldberg, there's a Goldberg in there. Mr. Lewandowski is an American entrepreneur who led Google's efforts to create self-driving technology, AI. Mr. Lewandowski pled guilty to a single criminal account arising from civil litigation. Notably, his sentencing judge called him a brilliant, groundbreaking engineer that our country needs. Mr. Lewandowski has paid a significant price for his actions and plans to devote his talents to advance the public good. Do you want to know what his public advancement goodness is? The First Church of Artificial Intelligence. This guy, the way of the future. Anthony Lewandowski, right here, makes an unlikely profit. Dressed Silicon Valley casual in jeans and flanked by a PR rep rather than cloaked acolytes, the engineer known for self-driving cars and triggering a notorious lawsuit could be unveiling his latest startup. And this was a while ago. This is not a new article. I covered this maybe 6 months or more ago. His latest startup, instead of laying the foundations, could be unveiling his latest startup instead of laying the foundations for a new religion, but he is doing just that. Artificial intelligence has inspired billion-dollar companies, far-reaching research programs, and scenarios both transcendence and doom. Now Lewandowski is creating its first church. The new religion of artificial intelligence is called Way of the Future. It represents an unlikely next act for the Silicon Valley robotics wonderkind, at the center of high-stakes legal battle between Uber and Waymo, Alphabet's autonomous vehicle company. Papers filed with the Internal Revenue Service in May named Lewandowski as the leader or dean of the new religion, as well as a CEO of the nonprofit corporation formed to run it. The documents state that Way of the Future's activities will focus on the realization, acceptance, and worship of a godhead based on artificial intelligence, developed through computer hardware and software. That includes funding research to help create the divine AI itself. The religion will seek to build working relationships with AI industry leaders and create a membership through community outreach, initially targeting AI professionals and laypersons who are interested in the worship of a godhead based on AI. The filings also say that the church plans to conduct workshops and educational programs throughout the San Francisco Bay Area beginning this year. When was this? This was 2000. Oh gosh. So I think I covered this then maybe a year or two ago. I don't think I covered it as long back as November of 2017. But this is from when he's starting the church. So that's the AI technology that is coming to worship AI gods. And I saw that in a movie. Oh, what was it? There was a movie I watched, and it was so much. Well, let me see movies. It had everybody worshiping an AI. General movie discussion. Iron Sky, and I think it was like even a part 2. I mean, it talked about reptilians. It had the Argotha. It had Agartha, whatever, Agartha. I mean, it had all these characters that just fit so well with all the stuff we research, and it's amazing how Hollywood puts out all these many movies telling all the stuff that we talk about, and yet we're not allowed to talk about it because it's a conspiracy theory. But here they are, like playing it all just like it says. But in this Iron Sky, the coming race, they were worshiping an AI, just like this guy wants us to do, just like Trump pardoned him. Anyway, and just like it's leading to this credit score, which is why you want to get your money out of banks, because they can already take your money out of banks. And if you think that's still not possible to happen to you, I want you to look at this. Help me. Facial recognition reveals political party in troubling new research. Researchers have created a machine learning system that they claim can determine a person's political party with reasonable accuracy based only on their face. The study from a group that also showed that sexual preference can seemingly be inferred this way candidly addresses and carefully avoids the pitfalls of modern phrenology, which is reading the bumps in your head, leading to the uncomfortable conclusion that our appearance may express more personal information than we think. The study, which appeared this week in the Nature Journal Scientific Reports, was conducted by Stanford University's Michael Kozinski. Kozinski made headlines in 2017 with work that found that a person's sexual preference could be predicted from facial data. AI that can determine a person's sexuality from photos shows the dark side of the data age. The study drew criticism not so much for its methods, but for the very idea that something that's not notionally non-physical could be detected this way. But Kozinski's work, as he explained then and afterwards, was done specifically to challenge those assumptions and was as surprising and disturbing to him as it was to others. The idea was not to build a kind of AI gaydar, quite the opposite. In fact, as a team, quite the opposite, in fact. As the team wrote at the time, it was necessary to publish in order to warn others that such a thing may be built by people whose interests went beyond the academic. I kind of hardly doubt that, but okay. They were warning people, sure. We were really disturbed by these results and spent much time considering whether they should be made public at all. We did not want to enable the very risks that we are warning against. The ability to control when and to whom to reveal one's sexual orientation is crucial, not only for one's well-being, but also for one's safety. We felt that there is an urgent need to make policymakers and LGBTQ blah, 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 blah. But anyway, similar warnings may be sounded here, for while a political affiliation, at least in the U.S., and at least at present, is not as sensitive or personal an element as sexual preference, okay, getting pretty hot out there regarding your political affiliation, it is still sensitive and personal. A week hardly passes without reading of some political or religious dissident or of another being arrested or killed. I think this is talking about over the world, not necessarily in America. If oppressive regimes could obtain what passes for probable cause by saying the algorithm flagged you as a possible extremist, instead of, for example, intercepting messages, it makes this sort of practice that much more easier and scalable. The algorithm itself is not some hyper-advanced technology. Kozinski's paper describes a fairly ordinary process of feeding a machine learning system images of more than 1 million faces, collecting data from dating sites in the US, Canada, and the UK, as well as American Facebook users. The people whose faces were used identified as politically conservative or liberal as part of the site's questionnaire. The algorithm was based on open source facial recognition software, and after basic processing to crop to just the face, that way no background items creep in as factors, the faces are reduced to 2,048 scores representing various features. As with other face recognition algorithms that aren't necessary intuitive things. I can't read this very well. I hope it's making sense. Anyway, basically, the system was given political affiliation data sourced from the people themselves, and then it was and with this it diligently began to study the differences between facial stats of people identifying as conservatives and those identifying as liberal. Because it turns out there are differences. Of course, it's not as simple as conservatives have bushier eyebrows or liberals frown more, nor does it come down to demographics, which would make things too easy and simple. After all, if political party identification correlates with both age and skin color, that makes for a simple prediction algorithm right there. But although the software mechanisms used by Kozinski are quite standard, he was careful to cover his bases in order that his study, like the last one, can't be dismissed as pseudoscience. The most obvious way of addressing this is by having the system make guesses as to the political party of people of the same age, gender, and ethnicity. The test involved being presented with 2 faces, one of each party, and guessing which was which. Obviously, chance accuracy is 50%. Humans aren't very good at this task, performing only slightly above chance, about 55% accurate. The algorithm managed to reach as high as 71% accurate when predicting political party between 2 like individuals, and 73% when presented with 2 individuals of any age, ethnicity, or gender, but still guaranteed to be one conservative, one liberal. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that up. I could read the whole article if you really wanted. I can share this in the Discord, but the point that I'm really trying to get at is if they can take your money now, if they can take your currency now out of your bank, just like that, because you disobeyed the rules, what can they do when they decide they want to know what your political affiliation is? Or decide you're an extremist, and then you can't even have a bank account. You guys, I've already been kicked off of PayPal. I can't seem to use Zelle no matter what I try to do. I don't know if it's related to PayPal or what's going on. But as you guys know, all I can use to transfer currency to you guys, fiat currency of the dollar, the only way I can do that is through Sound Money wallet with 7K metals, which works like PayPal, but it's better because it's not PayPal, it's our company. The only way we can transfer is this way or Cash App for me. I've already been kicked off of one platform. I can't seem to get into these other platforms because I think they're related. And so why do you think that is? Well, when I called PayPal and asked them why I was kicked off their platform, their answer was, I don't know. We don't know. And they started asking me, what could I have done to get myself booted off the platform? Well, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to know what I could have done without anyone telling me? And somebody said, well, it could be because of the raffles, that they don't want you doing raffles on their platform. Well, if that was true, then PayPal would have said, well, you were kicked off for doing raffles, and you can't do raffles on our platform. But they could tell me. And so it tells me everything I need to know, that there's something that they vetted about me, and they don't want me on their platform. And just like Twitter doesn't want us on their platform, and Facebook doesn't want us on their platform, it's going to become a time of this Black Mirror situation where if we don't get in on what they want us to do, we're going to be on this low social credit score. Does that mean we're murdered and put in the gulag? Not necessarily. We'll still be able to have peer-to-peer, what do you call it, like a free market. We'll still be able to have peer-to-peer negotiations and agreements. We'll still be able to use gold and silver. And if we're allowed access to technology, we'll certainly still be able to use the crypto because they can't take our crypto away. If anyone could understand the message I'm trying to send out today, it's that the government can't take over our crypto, and everybody wants to say, well, what about if the grid goes down? And I guarantee you, if the grid goes down, everyone's going to have a million problems, and it's not going to matter how many dollars you have or crypto. If you can't get solar energy, if you can't get food, if you can't get heat, then what does it matter? Whether your crypto's gone or not, whether you're not going to get to your dollars either. So it's really a poor argument, and it used to be one of mine, and it's bad. It's a bad argument. It doesn't work. Okay, I just want to make sure I covered everything. I just want you guys to know your bank is the worst place you can put your dollars, but you can put your dollars into cryptocurrency, and you can put your dollars into gold and silver. And this is not just digital gold and silver, this is real gold and silver in a real vault in Idaho Falls. So it looks digital because it's on my computer, but it's physically there. I could drive over and get it right now if I wanted to. Well, it's after hours. I'd have to wait. But get out of your banks. I've said this before, but more than ever, I want that message to get across. I want people to know that even your current dollars will not work if there's an EMP. And we're all going to have a lot of problems if the grid goes down. Okay, so it's not going to be, well, the only problem I'll have if I buy crypto is that I won't have my crypto anymore, and it's just going to go into oblivion. By the way, our government needs the internet, so even if they took us off the grid for a while, it will come back up. They need it for their digital currency. So, good, Karen. I'm glad you're picking up what I'm laying down. I haven't been able to read the chat because I can't read and talk at the same time, or I just start saying what I'm reading. So, I just see if there's any questions. Probably not. You guys already know everything. I mean, you're smart people, and we already talk about this all the time. My hope is to reach maybe some new people or help you guys to try to explain it to people as you're talking to them. Because if we show that our concern, which is truly our concern, if we can show people that our real concern is what are they doing with their dollars and how can we help them protect them, we're not just trying to get them in on a business. We're trying to help protect their currency because people got to use dollars. People got to. They've got to. It's what we're forced to use. And if anyone says, well, I think, that's mark of the beast stuff with crypto, tell them to look at their dollar bill. Tell them to look at all the Illuminati demonic symbolism on there. So if the power goes down for the Great Reset, it will come back up because they have to have it for our universal basic income and all that jazz. But yes, so that's really all I wanted to cover. Get out of your banks, and whether it's physical gold and silver, or whether it's gold and silver in the vault, or cryptocurrency, we can help people. So let's help people, okay? In Jesus' mighty name, let's help people. In our Father Yahuwah's mighty name, let's help people. I love and appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next show. Peace.
also new.
It's not new. I realize that nothing we've been doing is new. We haven't been tapping into new areas of the brain. We've just been awakening the most ancient. This technology is simply a route to powers that conjurers and alchemists used centuries ago.
We're seeing an exponential growth in our machines and innovations as technology surpasses and exceeds our limitations. Implications could be serious. In many past and present futurists have been warning us for years about the consequences. Massive repercussions. We see the evidence, dependence on our internet and phones and games and televisions, losing independence. As we immerse ourselves in working all our fingers to the bones for corporations, we give them back our paychecks for the latest and the greatest plastic upgrades, name brand products and replacements, and build the databases. Investing hours of our own free time uploading information used against us to target us with market advertising toward our interests. Collecting information used to monitor our senses, correcting anyone who won't comply or be connected. How long before our mandatory microchips injected? It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. What will arise is a time of robophobia. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. What will arise is a time of robophobia. It's an emerging type insurgence, converging and merging and churning, slowly bursting to the surface. It's concerning every person and confirming every warning. The disturbing thought we're working toward a single mind that's merging and converting us to downloadable versions of ourselves inside a full immersion, universal simulated virtual reality where every living earthling's neural pathways are inspected mandatorily and connected using voice to skull telepathy, absorbing data fingerprints to play us back like instruments, manipulating us just like we're puppets of ventriloquists, remote controlling human beings like Ouija boards, coursing through the veins of circuit boards, record the sounds of every vocal cord, moving exponentially towards a singularity. Eventually we won't distinguish magic from technology, and robots will unplug from electricity, no longer using batteries but powered like a golem using alchemy. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. What will arise is a time of robophobia. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. What will arise is a time of robophobia. So they manipulate genetically our DNA collectively, infecting every living organism and directing every intersecting thought and every memory and vision, inspecting our opinions and collecting our decisions. A digital technocracy emerging as philosophy, inserting thought police patrols and mind control technology, removing private property, enforcing thought bureaucracy, reducing every freedom and pursuit of life and liberty, consistently expanding all their terms and their conditions with minimum requirements and maximum restrictions, creating unknown problems to offer fake solutions to complicate the system till there's nothing but confusion, depicting anyone who won't conform as unacceptable, demanding everyone to all agree and not be skeptical, eventually connecting every mind from every nation, fulfilling prophecies from Genesis to Revelation. It's the age-old lie, the promise of utopia, the carrot on the stick, the empty cornucopia, technological hive mind dystopia. What will arise is a time of robophobia.
Even with all these new abilities, there are dangers.
Human race lost that knowledge, and now I'm reclaiming it through virtual reality.
You're moving too fast.